Welcome to Discovering. UP winters can be cold, snowy, and long, but that doesn't mean we have to hibernate. We'll take a look at some of the things we can do to stay active and enjoy the winter in the outdoors.
I think it's just important to enjoy what Mother Nature gives us, and that's why we live in the UP.
Yep, definitely.
Stick around, it's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forests thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
If we're going to live here in the UP, we pretty much need to accept the fact that at least 1/3 of the year is winter. That means 1/3 of our lives are spent in the winter. We can huddle up in front of a TV, or we can get out and enjoy the great outdoors just like we do the rest of the year. I talked with some of the folks at Mr. Bike and Ski in Escanaba for a look at some of the ways to make that happen.
So a lot of places that you want to go and explore, they don't have trails, and there's not a road to it, and there's waterfalls everywhere, and fantastic hills and fantastic landscapes that you can only access by walking. So instead of walking in your boots, you can walk in a snowshoe. So a couple of snowshoe differences. I guess one of the main difference when people think snowshoes is they think of the old Iversons and the old handmade snowshoes, and they're fantastic. They're great snowshoes for sure. People love them, and they still have them in the garage, and they still use them. Tubbs came along, and they made an aluminum framed snowshoe with a flexible deck, a somewhat flexible deck rather. And then they have a binding that you can actually put your foot in, and it locks your Sorel boot or your hiker boot or whatever boot is warm enough for the winter time. So all you do is step into the snowshoe, and you clip your foot in, and you're locked and loaded. You tighten up your strap for your heel so it fits a wide variety of feet, of sizes of boots, and you can be on your way. So the snowshoes are really nice. You can take them anywhere. The quality difference between one to the next, what the biggest difference is going to be is in the quality of the binding. So you can make the snowshoe in a variety of sizes, a variety of different quality systems to grab the ice and to be able to maneuver in the woods. But the binding is one of the most important pieces. So you can have a standard binding such as this that's going to get you out there and get you enjoying the snow. The upgraded binding is something along this line, which you simply pull up on or pull down on to tighten around your foot. Or the upgraded binding is similar to this, but it's a padded version. So it stays around your foot really well. You just lock it in and you're ready to go. So if you have kids with you, or if you have anything else that you're trying to do as well and you have to get in your snowshoe and go really fast, or you don't want to monkey with your snowshoe, it's kind of a nice, convenient thing to have with that. So this snowshoe is also a little bit more upgraded because it has a better gripping system. The Evan Ice Caves is a perfect example because the trail gets pretty slick. If we have a warm couple of days and the snow melts and then we have a cold freeze, that trail can get pretty iced over pretty quick. So the nice part about the snowshoe is it has really aggressive cleat systems. So it's going to hold on to the snow, it's going to hold on to, if you're going over logs, if you're doing anything else. There's also a lifetime guarantee on snowshoes such as this. So if you somehow pop a rivet or something happens, Tubbs is going to go good for it. They're going to fix it, they're going to repair it, they're going to give you a new pair, whatever it takes to make sure that their customer's happy. So this snowshoe is going to take somebody, probably about up to 150 pounds or so. The longer snowshoes are going to take somebody for a bigger weight, and the smaller snowshoes are going to take somebody for a lesser weight. So there's a snowshoe out there for you depending on where you're going to go, what kind of conditions you're going to go into. You're going to want to look at the binding, look at the size, and look at how aggressive the bottom is depending on where you're going to go. You can get on the trail and go out and see some waterfalls and some awesome things.
Hi, I'm here to talk to you today about winter hard goods, a great way to spend the UP winters. So we have a wide variety of hard goods you can choose from, main players being downhill, cross-country skiing, and snowboards. One very important thing with all of these winter hard goods is picking out the right setup for yourself. With all of these options, it can be really hard to weed through them all. When you come here or to your local ski shop, we'll easily help you narrow this down to the perfect ski for you. There's a wide variety of styles depending on your riding, so we will help you narrow that down. One other thing very important is to be sure you're on the right hard goods as far as sizing. The wrong size ski can definitely dog you down on the hill, so you want to make sure you have the correct setup as far as height along with the style. The correct size ski will basically allow you to still have the ability to turn well and to grab into the snow without going too fast and still having that control. One other very important thing, especially with skis, is to make sure your skis are adjusted properly. Any new boot, any drastic changes in height or weight can all affect how the ski releases when, say, you need to get out of them if you crash or fall. So one thing very important is to make sure your ski is adjusted to your specific boot and to your new change in height or weight. That release value will keep you safe and basically help you with your skiing. That way you're not popping out too early or too late. Another important thing with any of these hard goods is to keep them serviced. Usually we recommend a annual hot wax. You know, the more wax the better. Usually I will wax mine before every time, but at least once a season's a good idea. Keeping your edges sharp, that way you can grab in the turns, is also very important. We offer both here. Any ski shop will offer to sharpen or hot wax your skis. In addition to ski sizing, boot sizing is very important as well. Even though something might be slightly uncomfortable from the get-go, as you're riding, as you're on the hill, this will start to amplify, especially over time. So you want to make sure you have the right boot. The wrong size boot will cause either blistering, you'll have bad circulation, you'll end up getting numb in your feet. So very important to find the right boot. Cross-country skiing is another great way to enjoy these UP winters. We have a lot of trails locally, a lot of places to go and do it, and we have packages starting at $2.99. So compared to most of the other winter hard goods, a relatively cheap way to get into a winter sport, especially with the variety of places you can take them. With cross-country skiing, there are 4 components, main component being the ski. Like I was saying with the other hard goods, sizing is very important, especially with cross-country skis. You do want to be elevated off of the snow as much as you can to get as much out of your glide, but you also want to have the ski match your weight so you can compress the ski and push off to gain that momentum. So we have a wide variety of skis depending on skill level. There are some all the way from recreational to intermediate, expert level, even to some other varieties of cross-country skiing, including skate skis and backcountry for those of you who are skaters or looking to blaze their own trail. All these packages will include the ski, pole, binding, and boot. For $2.99, you can get into a cross-country package pretty easily without that daunting investment like a lot of like downhill ski packages can be, or snowboard packages. Another thing to think about with cross-country skiing is choosing the right boot. Boots typically start at about $100, and that'll get you a basic boot like this. Most are lace up. One thing to think about with boots is something with a lace cover like this here. A lot of times when cross-country skiing, the laces do get full of snow, in which case it can be tough to lace these up. So with a lace cover, you lace up for the day, and then you're good. You don't have to be picking snow out of there if you need to tie them tight or anything like that. Many of the boots will also have an ankle brace as well to prevent rolling of your ankles. So depending on how much you want to spend, a little extra for a better boot is usually worth it, depending on how much you're doing it. But at that $2.99 price is everything you need to get going. Poles are also a very important part of cross-country skiing. Making sure you're on the right pole is very important. You do want the correct pole for the motion of cross-country skiing. Being able to push off in the correct amount and at the correct angle will really help your skiing. Any ski or snowboard package can be a large investment. So one thing we do offer is rentals if you're not entirely sure if that's the route you want to go. There are a lot of hard good options. So whether you want to cross-country ski or downhill ski or snowboard, you may want to kind of dip your feet in the water first, give it a shot. And we do offer rentals starting at $20 a day, $10 each additional day. Along with that, there are a lot of ways to learn the sport. Any ski hill will offer you lessons ranging from any ages, whether it be beginner to intermediate or expert. Along with that, a lot of ski hills will offer after-school programs or camps for kids to learn to ski, to get the basics, and then to do more advanced skiing. It's a great way to get kids into the sport without investing a ton of money and making sure that they like it. One thing with these is they are expensive, so it's a great idea to just make sure that it's something you want to invest in, and that's something you'll get your money's worth out of over time. So doing lessons will definitely help eliminate the kids who are not too sure if they want to do it.
It's important that we're able to go outside in the UP. I think it's an important part of living here. It's an important part of being here. We have waterfalls to explore. There's woods to explore, and I just think it's a shame when people don't want to go outside and enjoy it because of the weather. So we're going to talk today about layering. A lot of issues with people coming in the UP and being in the cold. One of the biggest issues is everybody says they're cold. So one of our old employees actually said at one point, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what to wear when you're going outside and when everybody wants to be the warmest. So it depends on what kind of activities you're going to do. So we're going to talk about a little bit about snowshoeing and cross-country skiing, active wear, something that you're going to be more active in. So one of the first components, and possibly the most important component in my opinion, about being warm and being comfortable when you're out doing these activities is making sure that you have the right first layer. So your next to skin layer is your most important thing, and something like we carry Smartwool products, but this is a merino wool layer. So the important thing is you want something that's going to be a wicking material that's going to be able to pull the moisture from your skin and keep your first layer nice and comfortable. So that's the most important thing in my opinion. This merino wool, guys, it's not itchy at all. It's really soft, it's smooth, it's antimicrobial, so you can wear it multiple times possibly and still get some good use out of it. So you want to make sure that you are a good first layer. So you can go with something with a quarter zip. You can do something, they have products that have no zip on them. That's a little bit more comfortable. So once you have your first layer down, your next layer you're going to want is something that's going to be an insulator, something that's going to be between you and your outer jacket, something that's going to keep you warm. Something along these lines would even be a good idea. This one has, it has a little bit of a down layer to it, so it has some insulation. You still want to wear something underneath this, even though it's a combination of both, but it has, just has a little bit of beef to it to keep your body warm and keep your body insulated. Then as you go to the outer layer, the outermost layer of your product, this is a good example right here. Something like this is going to be more of a wind barrier. It's going to keep the wind and the elements away from you. So if it's snowing, it's just going to keep the elements away from you and you're going to have your first layer all set. So it's just an extra thing. And a lot of people will ditch the outer layer. A lot of times you're really too warm for this, and so you ditch that layer and you have something like this, and then you're nice and comfortable. One of the biggest mistakes people can make is wearing a cotton layered shirt, wearing just a long sleeve cotton layered shirt because they say, well, it's what I have in my closet and that's what I've always worn, so they're going to do that. What happens is the moisture stays next to your skin, and when you get warm, when you're putting on your boots, you sweat a little bit without even knowing it, and then you're freezing cold. So another issue is everybody has cold feet, right? So you're going outside and your feet are cold and your toes are cold and socks are bunching up, and so people will oftentimes wear double layers of socks. One of my pet peeves is definitely a double layer of socks because it makes your boot not fit right, because you fit your boot in the store with one sock on and then you go out and you do that and you unfortunately have a boot that doesn't fit and your feet are not going to, they're not going to be breathable. Your feet are one of the most common sweating points of your body, so that's a really important thing. So we also carry Smartwool socks, which is a merino wool-based sock. They all will do a very similar job in what they're supposed to do because they're merino wool layer. But what's important with them is you have the padding in the right spots. So this one's an outdoor specific sock. It's going to cinch on your foot in the right spots, and it's going to be padded in the right spots. So whether you have a Sorel boot on, or a North Face boot, or a ski boot of some sort, whether you're going to go cross country skiing, it's going to hold your foot in the right spot. These guys don't wear out. If they ever do wear out, they do have a warranty on them that you can send them back in, but you know, they last for a long time, and again, antimicrobial is always an ideal thing for making sure that your feet smell good too at the end of the day. But socks are really important, and if they stay in one spot and if they wick the moisture that they're supposed to, then you're going to have a circulation you need in your foot, and your foot's not going to overheat, and it's not going to freeze up. So another one of the great UP made products made here right in the UP, made in Ironwood, is Stormy Kromer hats. Stormy Kromer hats are an amazing hat made of primarily wool, of regular wool, but they line their hats with a really comfortable liner, so it's really comfortable for your head. But it's warm as heck when you're outside in the elements. Started back in 1903, and it's made here right in the UP. Great company to deal with. They're awesome for any warranty issues, and you can talk to human beings when you answer the phone, and it's kind of what you're looking for when you're dealing with great companies in the UP, so it matters to us for sure. Simply pull down the outside flap, and it goes perfectly over your ears. Stays nice and warm. The Value of Wool is super warm. So we have a guy that loves to hunt and fish and do everything outside, and he said it's a remarkable difference, that he wasn't sure if it would actually keep his head as warm. He's used to wearing chooks and that kind of thing, but he couldn't actually hear very well when he was out in his blind or walking around in the woods. So he was really surprised to know that when you have your head on, it's keeping all the warmth in your head. It's not letting the heat escape from your head, but when you put the ear flaps down, it doesn't cover your ear entirely, so you can actually still hear really well. We just recently started carrying Uper chooks. They're made here right in the UP from a fantastic lady that sews them herself right here in her home. So you can have it just as a little protector against, under your chin, so it's nice and comfortable there. Or when it's always blowing and cold, you have it over your face. So it's a nice warm piece. It's similar to what a balaclava would do, such as something like this that has an opening here. But she put some fun colors with it, and there's some kid versions here, and some women's and some guys, and they're a super warm chook that you can keep yourself warm, and it's all fleece, so it's soft. A lot of people I know keep one in the car just in case they get stuck in the car, have to dig something out, or they just kind of have them, and it's a great hat.
If you're not a fan of the cold, another great way to become active in the winter is a piece of fitness equipment. There's a large variety of different pieces that you can go with depending on your need. Anything from treadmills to ellipticals to seated bikes all have their advantages, and we can help you find the specific piece for you. One important aspect of buying fitness equipment is making sure you're on the right piece of equipment. Each has its advantages and disadvantages, especially per your depending on your needs. You know, a lot of people have treadmills. Treadmills are a great way to train off season, especially if you're a runner. Treadmills are not always the best option if you, say, have a condition with your knees or anything like that. Treadmills are higher impact. So you have a couple other options you can go. One being an elliptical. Elliptical will give you that running motion, also arm motion, without being hard on the joints. So a great way to get out and around, usually a bit lighter than a treadmill, so a little easier to move around, but that is also an option. If you do happen to have a lot of knee issues, other options include something seated. A seated bike like these here are a great option. You'll see a lot of these in rehabilitation buildings, and they're just a great route to go. They're incredibly low impact. Anybody with a knee replacement, this is usually the first place I'll go. And there's a wide variety, including just the regular laid-back recumbent seated bikes to something like this one here, which would be more of a leg press. So less rotating motion and more of the pushing motion, which that really helps with any knee issues. Many pieces of our fitness equipment will also link up with your phone via Bluetooth. This will help you track your workouts daily and kind of give you a breakdown of everything you've been, your progress, anything like that. Also an ability to just kind of see your exertion rate, calories burned per hour, miles you have run or pedaled, etc. So a lot of ways to track this, including keeping an eye on your heart rate to make sure you're optimizing your workout. I also wanted to talk about bike trainers today. Bike trainer is also another route to go. Definitely a cheaper option, and most people have a bike. So really all you need is the trainer and a good tire that you can use in the winter, and you have a piece of fitness equipment right there in your living room. Easy to store up. Also keeping your bike fitness up in the winter as well, which can be very hard to do. Even with a seated bike, it's not exactly the same feeling or working the same muscles. So a bike trainer, if you're looking to do any off-season training, the trainer is the best option. Also very cheap. Usually you can get into one around $200 to $400. So it's much cheaper investment and a little bit more versatile.
Whether you're snowshoeing or skiing or, you know, we both have kids, and there's a lot of kids out there, and there's people that have grandkids or whatever it is, whether you have kids or not. I think it's just important to enjoy what Mother Nature gives us, and that's why we live in the UP.
Yep, definitely. It's definitely much better than being cooped up inside, that's for sure.
Right, for sure.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'll leave you with a look at some of the reasons to get out and enjoy the great UP outdoors.